For the highway going into Highland Falls, see signs for the Bear Mountain State Park Lodge overlook. You are all forced into this large circle that leads to, I think this is the Bear Mountain Bridge, which we won't go to, and Fort Montgomery is the first thing you see right after you go over another roadway bridge over here to your left. It's actually a beautiful view. Then, of course, we come right into here and we get to Fort Montgomery. Montgomery, because that's the one that's right near. Fort Montgomery is right near the first bridge when when you come through the circle.
Yeah, the Bear Mountain, yeah.
And so, I'm just going to stop in, film a little bit of it, get out of here, and be back home and maybe even make the beach. Who knows?
There you go. I'm sure you can.
Well,
is that where everybody else is?
Yeah, they're all enjoying themselves. I have so much work to do. I got a broken pipe in the house.
Ah.
So, what do you do?
So then you might as well stay around and take a little bit of video.
Exactly. We're roughing it.
That's all.
Okay. Apparently we're at the main visitors lodge for the museum, Fort Montgomery. Just came down a little hill. Oh, this would be nice to see. I wonder when that's happening, the music.
No, that was put in 2004.
Now where's the Bear Mountain Bridge again?
It's coming in from the east, so you see from Anthony's nose over there, we're only seeing half the river here, and it's coming right into where Fort Clinton was, essentially.
So the circle is over there.
The circle is right up just outside the wall over there.
And then the viaduct bridge is up here.
Yeah, that's running that way.
And then,
this is the area as it was in 1777. So they actually did have a bridge back then where our modern bridge is today. And that was a pontoon bridge that was floating on almost like little boats.
Oh, very interesting.
But something that's pretty neat is this trail that takes visitors today, the trail side, was the original Fort Road. And the surface, we believe, is original too. So all the rocks you see, those are Revolutionary rocks. Yes, that's pretty exciting. Well, the British won the battle. They attacked from the west. You see here in this battle now. The British were smart. They were smart enough to realize that the forts were located on steep cliffs. In addition to the chain that ran across the river. And the battery of 6 32-pounder cannon. 32 pounds is referring to the weight of the ball they shot. So imagine 6 guns shooting bowling balls of iron, essentially. They decided to land on the west side of the river, near Stony Point. About a little over 2,000 men marched north, and at the site of Doodletown, which you can still see the ruins of today, they split forces, and roughly half attacked Fort Clinton, the rest came around Bear Mountain and attacked Fort Montgomery from the west, from the land. After they won the battle, then they cut the chain and destroyed it, and Sir Henry Clinton proceeded to send a portion of the troops up north. They only made it as far as Kingston. They didn't make it to Albany, so they never really were able to assist Burgoyne. And they burned Kingston, but it was really to no effect. Burgoyne had already surrendered by then at the Battle of Saratoga, so this was all sort of for naught. It's kind of like the theme here is defeat here that actually eventually contributed to the larger victory at the Battle of Saratoga.
But further north is where Fort Arnold or Fort Clinton is now,
You
And
mean
Fort
the West
Putnam.
Point? Yeah, the West Point.
But they never made it past there.
Those forts at West Point were installed in 1778.
Okay.
So a year after all this happened.
Ah, I
And the
see.
British never tried to attack West Point. Benedict Arnold, you probably remember, was trying to deliver the plans of West Point
Right.
to the American, to the British, and he
Right.
was Major Andre was carrying those plans, and he was caught in Tarrytown, and that kind of, and once that happened, the British really gave up on even thinking about attacking West Point. Yeah.
Amazing. Very interesting. I was just at Fort Putnam. I dropped my plebe off.
Up in, yeah.
British troops under General John Burgoyne have invaded New York from the north. They plan to secure the Hudson River, dividing the colonies and ending the rebellion. But Burgoyne's northern army meets enemy resistance at Saratoga and desperately needs help. From New York Harbor comes an expeditionary force of 4,000 British troops, commanded by Sir Henry Clinton, hoping to provide assistance to General Burgoyne. With them is the Loyal American Regiment, recruited by Beverly Robinson, one of the Hudson River's most prominent citizens. But standing in their way are men who also know and love the Hudson Highlands. Men like Jacobus Bruin from Kingston. For 18 months, the rebellious Americans have labored to build two major fortifications in the Highlands, Forts Clinton and Montgomery, mounting more than 50 cannons, and have placed a massive iron chain across the river to block the passage of any British ships.
In 3 years of war, we have suffered many defeats and disappointments. Yet every patriot along this river must stand tall. For unless the enemy can be stopped, our lands, our farms, our homes, everything we worked for will surely be lost. Daily, we work to strengthen our defenses at Fort Montgomery. Except for bayonets, we are generally well armed and well supplied. But we need more men.
People know me well across the Hudson Highlands. I have borne no malice to anyone, yet I sail now with a force bent on defeating many of my neighbors, including some I once called friends. This senseless war has forced me to choose between loyalty to my king and allegiance to a rebellion. For the past 2 years I tried to avoid this, but the pressure on me has been unrelenting. With my knowledge of the countryside, I will now help lead an attack on Fort Montgomery. The rebels must be beaten. We must strike swiftly and with no reservation, or the homes and property of every loyal subject along the Hudson, myself included, will be lost.
I fear our time grows short. Brigadier General George Clinton, our newly elected governor of New York, has just arrived here to take command of Fort Montgomery. The general is uncertain where the enemy may attack the Highlands. Will Putnam send us more men? We still have not heard. The dream of a new nation still stirs the hearts and minds of all of us who are here How can we feel anything but loathing for those who would see our dream destroyed? We must prevail.
Conceal our landing downriver from the forts. We'll move inland to the pass over Dunderberg Mountain. Then at Doodletown, we'll divide our force. Roughly half will continue on to Fort Clinton while the rest, including my regiment, will march west to Bear Mountain, across the Popolopen Creek, and into an attack position at the rear of Fort Montgomery. The march will be arduous, but with luck, we'll meet no resistance.
Scouts report an enemy landing this morning with at least 3 times our number. The governor now sends urgent word to General Putnam across the river in Peekskill, requesting additional troops with all possible speed. Artillery will take out a field piece to oppose the enemy's march. Meanwhile, I'll take 50 men and slow their approach.
The road is barely passable, but the weather's been good, and we've kept moving.
Here they come.
Our ships will soon be in position to bombard the forts from the river.
Steady.
When they do, our regiments must be in position to attack on the land side.
Steady.
Timing is critical.
They're calling a party to meet with us? A flag of truce? What the devil are they up to? They offer to treat us fairly if we surrender. We offer them the same. Now there's nothing left to do but fight.
If only they'd reasoned. Now we'll do what must be done.
Surround us and we have no reinforcements. We cannot defend every point on the works. Where is the governor? We still live, but we live a nightmare. Fort Montgomery destroyed. We know nothing of our loved ones, nor the fate of our troops to the north. All we know is vermin, stench, and the rotting timbers of this foul-reeking ship. What's this? What? Burgoyne and British defeated at Saratoga? God be praised. All is not lost.
How can this be? When Burgoyne's defeat were ordered back to New York Harbor, we leave to the rebels all we have gained. What will happen now to my home, the King's cause, and all loyal citizens along the Hudson? What a fair opportunity wasted.
The Hudson River, deep and majestic. Today, from its peaceful shores to its picturesque parklands, the Hudson carries a legacy of conflict, of change, and of honor. Here upon these ruins that were once Fort Montgomery, a battle was fought. A battle too easily judged by what was lost. Yet history tells us otherwise. Here, brave men took a stand for liberty. A stand that would change the course of a nation.
horn? That horn?
That's violin. Two of the most common video instruments of African musicians. This is black. As opposed to
Artifacts found by the archaeologist. Thank you.
The next thing we'll play is by Francesco Jimmy, and he was the kind of the prized favorite student of Corelli. Corelli was Italian composer, late 17th, early 18th century, and many of the composers modeled their music after him. So this one is actually from a book which Jefferson owned, which is, I guess, the first violin teaching treatise. It has exercises as well as compositions that you can play. And it also has a harpsichord. But the harpsichord would accompany the violin.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'll play a couple more, right? Do a duet. This one is by Ace Blale. And Blale was a young rival to Haydn. Haydn was very popular during the Revolution in Africa. And Blale became probably more popular in the early 19th century. But he was still just coming into play during the Revolution in the West. So this could be, usually they printed duets and you could have it for maybe 2 oboes or a violin and an oboe or a flute and a violin. So you could pick which instrument you played and it would work, you know what I mean? So they tried to have a wide range of people that they could sell the books to.
good.
Very good. I think I've heard that one before. You've heard that? Yeah, I've heard that one before. I have like 2 CDs of songs that were played at weddings in the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century. So yeah, that sounds familiar.
Okay, good. Seriously? Yeah, I'm going to play one more piece. This one's by Telemon. Telemon's music was performed in the colonies. You know, actually a lot of the composers were performed here too. They had orchestras. You know, we were just as advanced as they were in England or France or any other European country. So, especially in Philadelphia and New York City, they played George Philip Telemon's music. So this is an allegro movement, but it's a canon. So Melanie will start playing line and I start thinking the same exact melody, and she's just a measure ahead, but it somehow works.
Thank you.
Another question. The song Ave Maria, did that exist in that area?
Yes, but the lyrics did.
Ave
Well, I think
Maria.
the lyrics did.
Ave Maria?
But they set that to different music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rare, all composers kind of do things.
Oh,
There's many other versions.
Other versions of it.
One of the famous ones is they use a prelude by J.S. Bach. Right, they used by Bach as the background for the piano part, and then they sang a song. They made up a new melody that fits with this. That's the one.
The one we did 2 songs ago, that sounded familiar. I think that might have been off one of my CDs.
Wow.
You know, they may have played that at weddings.
Okay.
You know, that was the sound familiar. But I know Ave Maria is one of my favorites, and I was just curious. I guess there's different versions of it throughout
Yeah,
the
yeah.
years.
I think maybe the one you're thinking of is
Slow. It's a lot slower, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used a lot of the same text for different things.
Right.
Either religious, they also used Latin text,
Right.
or they would have a Latin poem and then they would, put it into English or French, whatever your language was, and set it to music. We actually do a song that's a Latin poem that was translated, what is it? Yeah, Samuel Johnson did that in the dictionary. Yeah, he interpreted it from Latin and published it. So the song's called Fly. The song is great. We can play some songs that they actually played, like Fort Montgomery, Stone Point, Lions Point. Yeah.
Right.
This stuff is more like at a fancy party. Or,
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, right. It's middle class.
It's kind of like, the officers and generals would.
Sure, yeah. Officers. But it's still, classical music
like we think of it today, where there's popular music and classical. Today, you know, in the 18th century, all music was the same, based off the same, you know, melodic structures, harmony, and everything. It's just simpler for country dances and some of the popular songs everybody knew.
Okay.
But it was just a more elaborate for upper class people who could afford it.
Right.
But every rank of society aspired to listen to symphonies and to, you know, learn the newest stuff by Mozart or whatever it was, you know. So, you know, yeah, let's not make a real bad.
This that you're showing is like 2 to 3 miles outside. Drink with me and drink as I freely welcome to my call. Chords that sing and sip it up. Make the most of life today. Life is short and wears away. Life is short and wears away. Oh, life is mine. Listen quick to their divine. Bites the summer mine, oh, repeated to peaceful. Blissful summers when they're gone. Will appear as short as long. Will appear as short as long.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. And who am I talking to?
My name's Eric Lychak.
Hi, Eric.
And I'm Melanie Zanakis.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you. This was terrific today. Peter Catul. You did a great job before explaining the battle. Now, everything you sang and the instruments you played on, these are all historically what was used at the time.
That's right.
And what was sung. And so this is what they had at their disposal. Very nice.
Then don't throw it in the weeds. Don't leave it there. Okay? I'm not doing this. You are. You gotta be responsible.
Nope, I don't have the audio tour. You have my audio tour. There's a hole in the ground. Probably used for maybe shells, maybe. Okay, this is the remnant of a powder magazine. A little bit over from the powder magazine is the remnants of the guardhouse. And we'll go over here, see what we got. Okay, remains of the officers' enlisted men barracks. Okay, 3 main panels about building the fort. The Battle of Fort Montgomery, which we saw on the film pretty well, and the historic site, some of the people who helped find the artifacts that you can see in the museum today. See that Governor Patterson has corrected the video. Is Elliot Spitzer no longer the man? In any case, that's it for today. Maybe we'll see something for graduation.